We now come to the Shadow Secretary, Angela Rayner.
Thank you, Mr Speaker, and I congratulate the honourable member for securing this urgent question. And I thank the Minister for her opening comments regarding the CCTV and the limitations regarding that. But given how little we currently seem to know, can I ask her to come back to the House when she does have some answers regarding this? Incredibly, Mr Speaker, this isn't even the biggest scandal of the day when it comes to ministerial security and communications, and the Minister alluded to it in her comments. This morning, a government spokesperson claimed that all ministers only conduct government business through their departmental email addresses. Yet I have right here the minutes of a departmental meeting in which senior civil servants report government contracts being approved from a minister's private email address. Who is telling the truth? It is a pity the Chancellor of the Duchy of Lancaster couldn't be here in person, given his personal experience of the perils of using his private emails to conduct ministerial business and to try and avoid freedom of information laws. And it goes well beyond one department, Mr Speaker. Last week, the Cabinet Office refused to answer my questions about the Prime Minister's mobile phone. Today, it has been reported that he too won't deny using private email addresses. Can the Minister now say from this dispatch box categorically and on the record that no Minister or Prime Minister has used or does use private email for government business, especially when it involves spending public money? This morning, the Justice Secretary agreed that private email was a huge security issue. He admitted that this revelation does raise legitimate questions. On this, he is right. Now it is time to answer those questions. Will they refer themselves to the Information Commissioner so that a genuinely independent investigation can take place? If any ministers have used private email for government business, what action will be taken and what will be done to prevent it happening again? What steps have been and will be taken to preserve private emails as evidence for the public inquiry into the government's mishandling of this COVID pandemic? Mr Speaker, our country faces daily threats from hostile foreign states who have already, for example, hacked the private email account of the Honourable Member for North Somerset. What advice have they taken on security of ministers' private email accounts? And what does it say about this government, Mr Speaker, when they will launch an inquiry into leaks of CCTV but not into their own ministers?
Well, I thank the Honourable Lady for her questions, and they're important questions which we will seek to answer. It's important to understand government guidance is that official devices, email accounts and communications applications should be used for communicating classified information. Other forms of electronic communication may be used in the course of conducting government business. Each minister is responsible for ensuring that government information is handled in a secure way, but how that is done will depend on the type of information and on the specific circumstances. Now, she raises a question about the procurement of PPE, I believe, or a COVID contract that was conducted allegedly by private email address, and I'm happy to look into that. But there needs to be an understanding that at the time at which we're in the height of the pandemic, a huge volume of correspondence was coming to ministers via their personal email addresses, to their parliamentary email addresses, to their ministerial email addresses. I'm not suggesting that there is something that we should not be looking into. My point is that, if you may well wait for me to finish, there were 15,000 offers of help in securing PPE that came in following the Prime Minister's call for assistance. Now, obviously, people wanted to respond to that call, and then we needed to manage the sheer volume of correspondence that was coming in. The important thing to note is that when PPE offers did come in, they went through the same 8-stage process. So no matter which way those things were communicated, they went through the same process, and that should provide assurance. And insofar as there are questions to answer, I want to assure the Honourable Lady that we have conducted a number of internal and external inquiries into this matter. There was the Boardman investigation into contracts, and there was the National Audit Office investigation into contracts. So I wish to assure the Honourable Lady that this matter has already been looked into. She is absolutely right to ask questions. I'm absolutely right to wish to reassure her. I would also add that there have been a number of debates on COVID contracts in this House. One of them took place in Westminster Hall. Now, I was on maternity leave at the time of the pandemic, so I share her concerns. I wanted to understand what had happened. So I responded to a debate in Westminster Hall on those questions, where I actually set out very candidly some of the concerns and challenges that we face at the height of the pandemic. A number of honourable members engaged in that debate asked very legitimate questions, which I responded to the best of my ability. I was not aware that she's ever engaged in any of those debates. And so she wishes to generate a lot of hue and cry over this, and that's understandable from a political point of view. But it's my duty to set out the challenges we did face and the ways in which we are addressing some of the concerns.